again. Bless you. Now you can almost see my screen, okay? Yeah. We have, if you go up to the top left corner where it says Lightroom Classic, you've got preferences. Can you see that now, Roger, on my screen?
Well, we've got settings, and then when you do that, it opens the preferences.
Okay, then.
So for some reason, ours is slightly different to yours. It doesn't say preferences at all.
Ooh, that'd be interesting then. Do you want to just show me your screen a second then, Roger, please?
Hang on a second.
I haven't got preferences across the top either.
No.
I have updated Lightroom again this morning because there's been some changes, but I wouldn't have thought preferences would change. Share your screen, please.
Yeah, you've got to turn your
Oh yeah, my apologies. Yeah, they put security share on again. Okay.
You ready?
Yep. Let's have a look what we could have won.
I'll open the desktop. Can you see it?
Yeah, I'm going to just drag you down onto my bottom screen because I can't see you. 1 minute. I'm going to drag you down. Right. Okay. Okay. Go up to your
Got settings. Look.
Oh, I say, why is yours different?
Well, no, Ron's is the same.
Mine's the same. But mine and Tony's has got preferences.
Oh, this is
Ron and myself have all got settings, and when you click on settings, look.
yeah.
Preferences.
Oh, I say, why do they change things and everybody's different? Do you know, one thing I did find today is that when I've come to use some of the new Photoshop features, I couldn't access them. And then I just couldn't understand. So I went on to Adobe and I ended up getting on the chat window with Adobe this morning about 7:10. And I found out that a lot of the features are there. You can use the software, but some of the features will not work unless you've got a newer version of the operating system. And I'd gone backwards, as I said, so might be something to do with that. I don't know. Okay, well, that's answered that question. Sorry, Roger. Thank you for sharing your screen.
Teresa said her and Tony have got preferences when they do that, but I think the rest have got settings.
Okay, I'll share what I've got. I'm going to put that up out of the way. Here's share my screen again. Here we go. There you go. I've got a full screen. Okay. And I'm going to do one.
External editing. That's the.
Oh, right, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go back. So yeah, mine says preferences, settings. It's called settings now. Who knows? Who knows? But you have got this screen now, this one here, yes? So we have where it says external editing. If you click on external editing, you all found external editing? It's the third tab along. And you'll notice at the top, I have now got Photoshop version. If I click on it, I can choose any Photoshop version I wish. Now then, why is this significant? Did anybody ever have the Nik Effects software? All the different filters? Yeah. In the new versions of Photoshop, some of those will not work. And there are some 3D filters. I've got some from way back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and a lot of them won't work. So what Adobe have said is that, okay, people have complained about this. And what they've done now is if you go to the Creative Cloud, which we're going to do in a minute, because I'm going to show you how to download the beta version. If you go to the Creative Cloud into your app, you can download and run simultaneously any version of Photoshop that you've ever used. So if you've got...
Why would you do that, Gary?
Why would you want to do that?
Yeah.
Because let's say that you've got some phenomenal software that you purchased 12, 15 years ago, and you've been using it, and suddenly Photoshop stopped using it. You'd be a bit miffed, won't you? Which a lot of people have. They've wrote to Photoshop and said, This is not on, we paid for all this software, we bought it, and now you're saying we can't use it. So what they've done is they have now said, okay, we will allow you to run any version of Photoshop on your computer. It will no longer overwrite the previous version. So at the moment, if you update Photoshop, it overwrites. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guess what? You can say, no, please, I want to run it separately. So much so, and I did it this morning, I ran 3 different versions of Photoshop on my computer at the same time. The only thing I did find is that when I opened up an image in one of them, all 3 went to the same image. So I can work on the beta version, I can work on Adobe 2023, and I can work on, believe it or not, I went back to 2005 and operated a Photoshop at the same time on the computer. So I had 3 Photoshops all running. I'd got one image, I asked one of them to open an image, and all 3 opened the same image, and you could see what happens in different ones. And I had access to my NickFX. And I could do something on NickFX on there, save it back to Lightroom, and then bring it back into the new version of 2023, and it's there. Not only that, this is going to be a real game changer. All the new smart objects that you can operate within Lightroom to work with Adobe, you can pull those through and then continue to work on them. So everything you've had in the past that you've lost, I know Linda used to get Portrait Pro, was it Linda used to buy?
Yeah.
And different ones like that. Portrait, there was Landscape Pro or something you had
Yeah.
that don't necessarily now work in the new. You could actually go back, run it, do it in there, come back into Photoshop and carry on working.
Oh, right.
So you can now get access to all your old software and literally use it on an image and then come back, if you wish, into Lightroom. And then you've got all the changes done and you can carry on working in the new version of Photoshop. So it's like being able to go back in time machine on a Mac, do some work and then come back into the real world. So it is pretty God impressive. Now you can see at the moment I've got a choice. So when I come to edit my pictures from today, if I wish, and I may well do, because I want to try this Photoshop beta out, which I'm doing, but I can't because now I've changed my software back to Big Sur, so I can use my drives. I will have access to any and all of every Photoshop if I wanted to from Lightroom. So if you have got, Linda, this Landscape Pro that you like to use and you knew you used it in Photoshop 2015 or I don't know, one version it did work in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can then download that, which I'm going to show you how to do. And then when you come into Lightroom, you can say, actually, I want to work in my old version because guess what? I want to use the old software. And you can do that and then come back into Lightroom when you've done it in there. And if you save it as a smart object, which we're going to show you. Now, remember, smart object is very much like Lightroom. You never work on the original. You work on an image that's what it looks like if and when you either save it or print it. Yeah. So you'll actually like working in a virtual world in the background, and you can do the changes, come back, and then carry on from there, which I think is incredible. And it's something we've always wanted, but Adobe have never listened. Well, they woke up, so that's where we are with it. So that's what I can use. I can use the beta version, or I can use that. If I use the beta version at the moment, all
Gary.
the facilities are there, but I can't use one or two of them. Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
do we have to have all these on our computer for it to access it?
You would have to have the software on your computer, yes. So if I'm going to show you here, if I go up to the Creative Cloud, there's the Creative Cloud. Yeah, and we'll look at this in a minute. And down here, there are beta apps and there are updates, and these are all your Photoshop. And so do you want to open up the little window and have a look with me? Shall I show you where it is? So go up to the top of your screen and you've got your Creative Cloud at the top. Can you see the top menu bar?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you click on there, you will open up either this screen or it might come to that screen.
One of the red dots. Yeah.
Now what do we click on?
So now you've got, has everybody, oh wait, everybody got this screen up and showing?
No, no, not got that screen.
I've not got that screen. Mine's different to everybody's.
Is yours that screen?
Click on it.
I can't see.
Describe it. Is it that screen, that screen, that screen, that screen, that screen?
Different to where ours is black.
Yeah.
Is black.
We're all opening one where it says apps.
Okay, so you're all on apps. So it looks like that. Is that correct?
Doesn't look like yours,
Something
no.
like-
Margaret's does. Mine's. Oh, it might be that mine's got a black background.
Yeah, that's okay then. So you can see your apps, which should tell you that which ones are installed on your computer. Is that correct? It might not be the same because I've got a different package. I've got Illustrator, InDesign, Premiere Pro, and all the rest. But have you got one there that says Photoshop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has everybody got that? Roger, can you ask a more theory? Because I don't want to leave anyone behind. This is quite a significant thing we're going to work with.
It says Photoshop.
Yeah.
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 Yes, everybody. Oh, hang on. Ron, have you got it? And
Yep. Right. Where it says Photoshop, it should say up to date. Is that correct, everyone?
mine says update available.
Yeah,
but-
mine's got an update available.
Right. Don't do it yet because you are going to get the updated one, which is similar to the beta version. You will have this new content aware removal tool, which we'll show you. But I don't believe you get the generative one yet. I will have to check and we'll do it. I think when we finish today, because if you all try and download it now at the hall, the internet will fall over. I think it's too much for it to ask. But so if it doesn't say, if it said update available, which came out on Monday, you can click on there when you get home and update it. Yeah. Now that.
And then it restarted twice.
Oh,
Talk to me what you're saying, Roger.
Oh yeah, I did mine the other day and that took about 20 minutes and that had to restart twice.
Okay, right. So we have got on this screen your ability to do several things. As you can see here, if I do this, I've got Photoshop. Yeah, you can all see Photoshop on the big screen. And I've got up to date on mine. Can you all see that? But at the very left-hand side, there's something called beta apps. Can you see that one?
where?
On the left-hand panel.
Down the bottom there, Margaret, there.
Can you see it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, remember where that one is, because I'll talk to you about that in a moment. But the other thing is at the far end of where it says Photoshop, so what's the big screen? Photoshop, up to date, and if I go to the end, it says open, and there is 3 dots. Can you all see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, when I hover over the 3 dots, it comes up with a little button that says more actions. And if I click on those 3 buttons, it should give me, I'll have to just hide that because it's in the way. Add-ons, and you've got all these things here. You've got near the bottom, can you see it says other versions? Can you see that?
Yeah.
If I click on other versions, I'm not going to do it now, but if I click on other versions, there is every version I've ever paid for and done available to me to download.
Where's other versions?
So when you click the 3 buttons, Linda.
Yeah.
If you click 3 buttons and it says other options, you should get a drop down menu that says tutorials, templates, browse, plugins, support, all the rest. And near the bottom, the third from the bottom, it says other versions.
It looks
on
as
your
though
dots.
there's about 10 different other versions.
There is a huge, look at them, older versions.
Yeah.
Look at this. I'm going back to 22.2, there's all sorts on there. And there are some more. Now, I've only got these recent ones, but you can actually get in touch with Adobe because he's on the chat line this morning. I spoke to him. I can go back to when CC opened, which is 2003.
Did you click on that?
So what we're saying is you can see there's lots of versions you can have. Okay?
All the versions you've had on here, look.
Yeah.
You can install them all.
Yeah.
Right.
So that is more actions, the 3 buttons. The other one is the beta apps. Now, beta apps is software that you can have and you can try and give them feedback. I've got a link to beta apps because I am with the Adobe accreditation I have, they send them to me and ask me for valuations. I looked at this, as I said to you a couple of weeks ago, about this new removal tool, which is just quite scarily good. But because I have a variation with my software, so I don't lose my external drives at the moment, I've not had a great lot of time with it, but I have watched 1 or 2 tutorials through certain people, certainly from Adobe, that they've sent me links to look at, and it is exceptional. So you can download also, if I was to click on beta apps now, you will see now at the top, I've got Photoshop beta. Can you see that on my screen?
Can you make it full screen, Gary?
I can make it full screen. There you go. So at the top now, in install beta apps, I've got Photoshop beta, and believe it or not, I updated that yesterday, and there's an update available again today. So I will update it in a while. I'm not going to do it now because, in fact, I could do because I'm not. New file, yeah, it's just saying there's an update. Oh, you can see I've been working on all the 2 files. If I click on the update available, I'm going to update it. So that will update in the background. So you will have this screen, and you've got the ability. I'm just going to close Photoshop beta down because it's still open. I'll just, and because I want to show you, we'll just out of interest to see how fast my broadband is. It's coming down now. It's downloading at 800 gig. It's fast here. The fiber optic here is incredibly fast. So it's already up to date. Wowzer. That is, how long did it take you, Roger?
Like 20 minutes to do the photo.
It's mine's already downloaded. Rapid. Okay, so what I'm saying to you is, for next week, you want to go into here, make sure your Photoshop that you're currently running is up to date, and also go to the beta apps, and if you wish, download the beta version as well. And don't do anything with the beta version until we talk next week.
Yeah, but what Roger's saying, will the beta one override the other?
No, I just said you can run them simultaneously. If I go to Lightroom, Roger, I've got Photoshop 2023 or beta. I can select which one I want to operate. And if you look in my dock at the bottom, I've got Photoshop beta and Photoshop 2023. Can you see that?
Yeah.
And if I go to the Finder window and look at all the applications, there you go, Roger. There's Photoshop beta and there's Photoshop 2020, 23. I've got various versions. It does not overwrite now. You can literally download new versions.
Is that where this the new, when you're saying about the content aware, is that where it hides now then?
Content aware, the new content aware is in the new Photoshop that's just been released. The
right.
Generative one, I believe, is still in the it could have been released today. I mean, looking at this, there's been another update today. It could be that the beta version has now gone public. I said I was on the phone with them this morning, on the chat window this morning, and they said it was imminent. Now, imminent might mean like it's open now, but if it is, why are they still showing the beta version? I don't know. So there is one, but just out of interest, I'm picking on Margaret. I don't mean to, but Margaret, look at this top right corner. Here's a photograph of somebody in a cave. Yeah. What you do is you go over here and you say, I want to, in this area here, and you just do a rough selection, I want to put in a reflection, a lake reflection. Not only does it put it in like so, but it mimics the reflection, what is above it. And it is incredibly scary what it can do. I tried one yesterday, and I asked it to do a reflection, and it was I could not see any joint, any line, any aberration, call it what you may, around the area I told it to put that reflection in. And I was gobsmacked. Now, if you remember, in Photoshop, we did, can you remember they do a replace sky in Photoshop, can you remember? And if you want to do a reflection in the lake below, you had to do it again and tip it upside down. Can you remember we did that?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to do that anymore. It's just unbelievable. It is quite scary, actually. So where does that lead us today? Well, we're going to do these other things, but for your homework, did I say homework? The boys know they get homework in video class. Have you done your homework for this week, Roger and Tony?
Yeah.
Good. For your homework, you want to make sure you've got Photoshop up to date for next week. And if you wish, and if you want to have a look at what it can do, and it might be, things change. I mean, that beta version was updated yesterday. It's another update today. It could be.
You want us to download the beta version then?
I would download the beta version, and then we can do a comparison to see what's in and what's not, and what you can play with. But it will not overwrite your software. It will give you 2 versions of it. So we've got 2 versions you can run. You can run as many as you like, and you can run them simultaneously. So if I open in Lightroom and say open up in the beta version, it will do. But if I've got the other Photoshop on, it'll open that up in there as well. So you can see it as well. So I can have 2 or 3 versions of Photoshop running at any time, which is pretty damn scary.
How have I got a different picture to you and everybody else?
Okay, so up-to-date Photoshop, please, and beta or next week. Okay,
Oh,
you all got that?
yeah.
I'm just going to get my Lightroom back up. There we go. Okay. Last week we talked about colours as well, didn't we? Red, green, blue, cyan, magenta, yellow. And we looked at the grad, and then we went to this photograph here. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So if you all open up this photograph, and I'm going to talk to you about this photograph, and then we're going to show you a couple of things I think that you should do.